What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers are going to face the Toronto Raptors and are going to get a good look at several key players. There are definitely a few players on the Raptors that I think could make a lot of sense for the Lakers. The Raptors are a team that appears to be selling with OG now departing to the New York Knicks. They got Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett. Obviously, they're going to keep Scotty Barnes and kind of build around that core and try to retool. They want to be competitive. They want to be good. They don't want to hit a full reset button. Okay, let's start from scratch. No, they want to kind of get some nice quality pieces that they can use for now and the future. And then if they can get some other assets in between, that would be great. Now, there are some murmurs about Pascal Siakam with the Los Angeles Lakers, but there are a lot of other teams that are interested and engaged in potentially trading for Siakam, right? We saw Sacramento was really making a strong push. They have now backed out. It was a package centered around Harrison Barnes. Toronto, I guess, did not want the package. They weren't interested. And now it looks like unless Toronto goes to Sacramento, Sacramento's just going to say, hey, find another trade partner. But there are several other teams. You've heard the Dallas Mavericks, the Indiana Pacers. There's even interest from the Sixers. And I'm sure there are many other teams that would throw their hat in the ring at least for a Pascal Siakam trade. Problem is the reports state that Pascal Siakam won't resign with Sacramento, that was one of the big reasons why the Sacramento Kings backed out, because there's too much concern about Siakam and whether he would stay or not. But there was reports that came out that Siakam is not going to re-sign anywhere he goes simply because he wants to enter free agency because he'd make more money on the open market. So any team that trades for Siakam is running the risk of, okay, if we trade for Siakam, he could leave. Now, that doesn't mean that he won't re-sign. He just wants to see what's out there and see if there is a better opportunity in which he can make money. Now, the only teams that really have major money that could pay him are not going to be any of the high-quality teams. Like teams like San Antonio, would he want to go to the Spurs, kind of go through their rebuild, right? He's not, 25 anymore. He's going to be 30. So he's a guy that I'm sure wants to compete. I don't really see him going to like a Detroit or anything like that. He's going to want to go to a very specific market to where he can maximize and make as much money as possible, but also remain competitive. So I do think if he was traded to the right situation, I do think he would ultimately re-sign. But again, there is that real risk, and it's something that the Sacramento Kings said, hey, we don't want to have that risk. But on a good note, what this could do is drive down the market for Pascal Siakam. The problem that the Lakers have is the Lakers, they are very limited on assets that they have to go and use for a trade to go get a guy like Siakam. And I've talked about this with many other players. As soon as there is competition, the likelihood of the Lakers getting that guy are none. Because the Lakers they only have what they have. They only really have one first and a pick swap. Yes, they do have guys like Rui Hachimura. They have, D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent. Like, they have contracts that are very tradable, right? And maybe a team like Toronto, maybe they would look at, hey, man, a Rui Hachimura would make sense for us. Maybe they'd be interested in something like that. But somebody like a D'Angelo Russell or Gabe Vincent doesn't really make sense for them. So if the Lakers were ever going to acquire a Siakam, well, then they would very likely have to have a third team. I just don't see the Lakers being able to trade for Siakam straight up, right? And I don't even know personally if Siakam is the best option for the Lakers, right? No doubt, Pascal Siakam is an excellent player, and he would definitely be an upgrade over Jared Vanderbilt to Cam Reddish, right? He could slot into the 3, he could play the 4. He's a guy that, 6'8", 7'3" wingspan, so he's got good size, good length. I like Siakam as a player. I just think as long as you have LeBron, Siakam doesn't make a world of sense. If we didn't have LeBron James, Siakam does, because you could just slot him at the 4. He could kind of play as like your point forward, run some offense through him. He could be a guy that could go make some plays and just be a nice like co-star alongside Anthony Davis. I mean, this was a guy that was the second best player with Kawhi Leonard and won an NBA championship. But the problem is with LeBron James, you don't need Siakam's playmaking the way that you would for other teams. Defensively, he's stout. He would be great. But offensively, there would be concerns. He can't play off the ball. He's only shooting 29.7% from three on 4 attempts per game. So that's not good. So you're not getting any three-point shooting. And look, the Lakers are a bad three-point shooting team, period. But it would be nice to have guys that can shoot and score the basketball, right? Or provide other needs in other areas that the Lakers really could use, right? This is a guy, he get you, 6.5 rebounds, which would be nice. Get you a steal, get you a block. He's averaging 22 points per game on 16 attempts, so he's shooting 52% from the field, right? I'm not saying that he wouldn't work at all. I have concerns about the fit. So you start going down the order, and it's like, okay, fit could be a bit of a concern. What are you going to have to give up to go get him? Is he just going to leave in free agency? And you basically traded whatever assets you had to go get him, right? You start looking at the overall package here, and it's like, I don't think Siakam makes sense for the Lakers. Now, if you can essentially just get him, like if Toronto gets to the point where like all the teams back out and, it's like, okay, well, we just want to get something for him because we don't want to lose him for nothing, and the Lakers can kind of get him for, pennies on the dollar, then sure. Right? But I just don't think that that's going to happen. I do think a team like Indiana or somebody will kind of take the risk, take the chance, right? And they'll just give up some picks or whatever. I don't think the Lakers are going, because the Lakers have to get this trade right. They have one shot here. And to go take a risk on a Siakam who, will he even fit right? Because he's going to be the third option, right? Can he be the third option? He's going to have to play off the ball a bunch, right? He's not going to have the ball in his hands the way that he's used to and accustomed to. It's just, I don't know, it's going to be tough for the Lakers to kind of make that make sense, in my opinion. If the Lakers acquire him, I'm not going to be upset about it. I just don't think it's going to happen, personally. I just think there's too much competition. Some team is going to end up ponying up to go take a shot at Siakam and think that they can convince him to stay long-term, and the Lakers are just going to go look elsewhere. It's kind of my thoughts. But I do think Toronto has other pieces that could make a lot of sense for the Lakers. Because look, if Toronto is trying to kind of retool their roster and unload guys and make changes and stuff like that, well, the Lakers, again, could go get other pieces. Like, let the bidding war for Siakam take place. And while everyone's distracted for Pascal Siakam, I think the Lakers could maybe swoop in and get a couple pieces that make a little more sense, right? There's reports that Dennis Schroeder is unhappy in Toronto, right? Could the Lakers bring back Schroeder, right? Maybe you could get Schroeder for like a Gabe Vincent and like a second-round pick or something, right? And because, Gabe Vincent hasn't played at all, right? So if you could go get Schroeder back, at least he's playing. You know what he can provide. He's actually a guy that the Lakers could really use right now, a point-of-attack guard. There's questions about his playmaking. There's questions about just his ability to shoot at times, right? He can be a bit of a streaky shooter, but he is a guy that I do think would make sense for the Lakers to bring back. Many people think that the Lakers should have never let him go. I don't think it's something that's like a complete necessity, but I do think it's something that, like, okay, if you can make it make sense, then sure, why not, right? Again, everyone's distracted on Pascal Siakam. Come in and maybe you could get a Schroeder, or could you get a Jakob Poeltl, right? Now, so I've mentioned Jakob Poeltl before, and I've had people be like, well, so wait a minute, like, you don't want Pascal Siakam, but you want Jakob Poeltl? Well, yeah, because one is 7 feet, and one is a center, and the other one is 6'8" and a wing. Like, there's a big difference, right? So, to me, Jakob Poeltl, if you could go and maybe snag him and kind of figure out a way to get him, and I've had people be like, oh, well, Toronto doesn't have any more centers. Have Koloko, right? So that's a center there, and maybe you give them like a Jackson Hayes in the deal. Maybe you do something like, Rui and Hayes, and it's like, hey, here's another young project center that you can grow and develop and try to figure that out, right? So you are like, so they would have a center backed up. Maybe you go get a guy in a Jakob Poeltl who could basically give you a 10 and 10. Right? He can also make plays out of the post. He's a guy that could be a quality center. Now, would he be okay in a backup role is a question, because he's probably not starting alongside AD because LeBron's best at the 4 at this point, right? So I don't know, maybe not. He has had years where he's came off the bench, especially like with San Antonio. In 2020, 2021, he started 51 of the 69 games he played, right? So, that could be a possibility. He's had multiple years with San Antonio where he came off the bench. But, if he has an opportunity to play for a championship and stuff, is that something where he goes, okay, like, cool, I think Jakob Poeltl could make more sense than like a Pascal Siakam. He'd also be cheaper. I don't think you'd have to sell the farm to go get him. And then, Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr. is a guy that I've wanted on the Lakers for quite some time. I think Gary Trent Jr. makes a lot of sense for the Lakers. He's still 24 years old. This is a guy that just a couple seasons ago was like third in the league in 30-point games. He's a guy that can shoot the basketball, right? He's a career 38.5% three-point shooter. He's shooting 38.5% this season on 5.5 attempts per game. This is a guy that's averaging 11 points, 2.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and a block. A legit 3-and-D guy who's coming off the bench for Toronto right now anyway. He'd be a nice piece. I mean, you can even make an argument to start Gary Trent Jr. With this Lakers team, right? To kind of have that upgrade in the 2 spot, be a 3-and-D guy that could actually shoot the basketball, guy that could be a scoring threat. I really like the idea of like a Gary Trent. So to me, it's just like, for the price that it would cost you to go get Pascal Siakam, you may be able to get all 3. Like literally, right? So I would look at it as like, again, let everyone kind of stumble over each other to go get Siakam. And if you can swoop in and get a Gary Trent, Jakob Poeltl, and Dennis Schroeder, then that upgrades several positions of need. That fixes some of the Lakers' problems, right? It doesn't fix all of them, but it does. It gets you a sizable center, right? Gives you a guy that could be a low post threat at the center position, a guy you could dump the ball down to at times, especially when the Lakers' offense just gets stagnant a lot. You go get a 3-and-D guy who's still young enough to be a piece for the future, and Gary Trent Jr., and then go get, your point of attack guard off the bench that you needed in Dennis Schroeder. I don't hate that idea. Again, I don't think that they're going to be able to get Pascal Siakam. I don't think that he's even the right move personally. That's just me. But as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Are you somewhere in between? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate you all. See you in the next one. Thank you.